looks like people are still trying to fill up the room.
Oh, the anchor graphic?
Not the anchor graphic.
What's up, guys?
Home wall.
Ready? All right. I'm going to give you guys the injuries. It's already known Brees is out. It's torn ACL. ABT is gone. He has a tricep that's going to require surgery, so he's done for the year. Corey Davis is going to be, we're going to continue to evaluate Corey over the course of the week.
Robert, you said torn triceps for ABT?
Yeah, it's going to be a tricep repair. I'm guessing that means torn. I'm just reading the report.
Robert,
Is that something you feared last night, Robert, or did that come as a surprise today?
It was something we feared last night.
Robert, you've been in situations like this before, pretty well documented in San Francisco, with Jimmy, and then with Bosa. Just kind of how do you navigate this when you lose two players that were playing so well for you early in the season?
Yeah, it's always tough. Those are two potential Pro Bowlers between Brees and ABT, and we experienced this back in 2020 when at San Francisco we visited this organization and lost a handful of guys to the season. But it's the NFL. It's next man up. Michael Carter has proven that he can carry the load, and Ty Johnson has done a really nice job. And with our offensive line, we've been, it's been all year with guys shuffling, and just got a lot of faith in the guys that are here to be able to step in and continue to do the job that was done before them.
What is the status? Fant is eligible, correct, to come back this week? Is that a possibility?
I don't think it's going to be this week. He's doing great. He's back in the building. Talked to him this morning, said he feels great. But as far as him returning, I'm not exactly sure how far that is yet.
Who would it be? Cedric then at right tackle? You think? Robert?
Yeah, correct.
Robert, how do you obviously it's next man up. You always hear, but how do you kind of help your team mentally just kind of handle blows like this?
I think they'll be fine. I think I always say this, like, somebody go up to Michael Carter and say that he can't do it, right? Somebody go to Ty Johnson and tell him he can't do it. Somebody go to Cedric and tell him that he can't do it. They're going to look at you sideways. We've got all the faith in the world in those guys that they can go in and step in and do the job. Michael Carter has proven it. He has a ton of talent, and he's done it in the past. And Ty Johnson has a ton of talent. And Bam's going to get an opportunity to step up. So there's nobody in our locker room will look at each other and say, well, this guy, we just got worse because we got to go with this guy. I promise you the person who's stepping up isn't thinking that. And I promise you we're not thinking that either. So it's a great opportunity for somebody else to step up and put their name on the put their name out in the open and all that stuff. But I'm more hurt for Brees and ABT because of the seasons that they've been having. And it sucks for them because of what they're doing and the direction that they've been going.
Hey, Robert, you've been winning games in so many different ways. Most recently, all season, your defense has been playing well, obviously, but the running game's been productive. You haven't really had to win with the pass. And I just wonder, with no touchdown passes in 3 games, as you self-scout, even after wins, is that something that needs to be dealt with? And how sustainable is that as you move forward to win that way, across the scale of a full season?
No, for sure. You look at the last 2 weeks. First, I'll go to Miami. Brees had those 2 explosive pass plays where he gets tackled on the 1-yard line. Otherwise, we're not talking about no touchdowns over the last 3 weeks, right? But these last 2 weeks, I mean, I don't think we should discredit the fact that we played 2 really, really good pass defenses in Green Bay and Denver, especially Denver. But both of those units play a really, really good style of football in terms of pass defense, and they make it miserable. We're not the first or the last team that's going to go through that ringer that is the Denver Broncos defense. they're pretty freaking good. And, so it's still got a lot of faith in our offense. Still got a lot of faith in the pass game. Showed it in the fourth quarter at Pittsburgh. Showed it against Miami. And I know the touchdowns don't show up there, but 2 of those passes got tackled on the one. And so there's, Zach's a ton better than he was a year ago, and he's going to continue to get better. And there's just small little details that we're always going to strive for. And there's 4 or 5 passes where we're always going to want those back. But I'm not sounding the alarm on the pass game yet.
And just one thing on Zach, he is obviously, we all know, you can see his escapability, how good it is. Sometimes it looks a little, a couple times even yesterday with that fumble that was not called a fumble or wasn't overturned, that it's almost borderline reckless. Is there a fine line there where you don't want some crazy play to happen had that been called a fumble?
No, it's you're right in that I don't know if I'd put reckless on it. I think he's competing his tail off to try to find a way to make a play. Mm-hmm. And he's got to be able to just say, all right, I made the first guy miss. There's nothing open. I just got to get rid of this football. But he continues to fight and try to find ways to get the ball to somebody, try to gain or do something, which we all admire. It's why he's the number 2 pick. That's why we're excited about his future. But at the same time, he does have to learn when enough is enough. And, it kind of happened last year, week 17 with Buffalo where he's just trying his best to make a play. But I don't look at it as reckless as much as it is that he's just got to learn to pick and choose his battles.
Thanks.
Robert, can you update us on Elijah Moore's status?
Back with the team. Today was kind of a semi-victory Monday, so guys have been shuffling in and out, getting their lift in, which he already checked in. So expect them back here Wednesday.
So it's back to normal. I mean, have there been any further conversations, and will he be active then on Sunday?
I have not talked to him yet today. I'm probably not going to talk to anybody today. Hopefully get a chance maybe tomorrow. We'll see, but expecting him to be active on Sunday.
Robert, I don't expect to get too detailed here, but what does that conversation look like with Elijah? Are you checking where his head is at? Are you telling him kind of, how he has to kind of get back in the mix here?
You know what? It's that conversation is going to be more organic. I don't have a plan for the conversation. I know the type of young man he is. I've already said it, and just look forward to him just continuing to find ways to get better and help this football team.
Been speaking to a number of the guys in your room. A lot of them, a good handful of them, talked about them reaching out to him and kind of, some of the veterans, Dwayne Brown being one of them yet last night. How much does that help you in this, in him getting his head right and moving on from this, to have your veteran guys?
No, it's also, I just don't think this is the time to alienate Elijah. Like, he doesn't need to be alienated from this organization. We love him. We think the world of him. We know what he can do from a football standpoint, how much he can help us. And we just want to help him. And, but we're not alienating or just moving him off to the side. No one's trying to turn the corner when they see him walking. We're going to hit it straight on. He's still part of this family, and family embraces one another in adversity, and they don't reject. So,
Robert, I'm sorry. After the Elijah Vera Tucker news, I kind of zoned out. But Corey Davis, you said he might play this week, or what's kind of?
It's going to be day to day. He's obviously he's dealing with his knee, and we'll go day to day with him. His status will be up in the air.
Take a few more for Coach. A few more.
Robert, I got one for you. Ryan from the New York Post. I got kind of a big picture New York one for you. There's a lot of great defense being played in New York, but the saying that comes to mind is there's 2 different ways to skin a cat. Like, it doesn't seem like you and Wink Martindale could be calling defense any less different. What does that say? What does that say about kind of the ways there are to attack offenses right now, and kind of the defense that's being played here and the different ways to go about it? Do you see, it looks totally different to me, but maybe you see a tie that binds in aggressiveness or something like that?
No, I think that's an awesome question. A really good question. I think it comes down to having conviction and belief in what you're teaching. And if I tried to teach Wink's scheme, it would probably be a mess, right? Because I don't know every snake that he knows. So a snake being like all the issues. When he calls a play, he knows every single issue, and he can relay those issues to his players in a way that they can play within the scheme, so they can keep everything tight. So there are ways. There's a pressure system, there's our system, there's a lot of different ways to play great defense. But at the end of the day, Bill Belichick, for example, we're about to play this New England team that's been there for, like I've joked around, for 100 years. They know every single detail of their scheme and how to coach it, and all the players know all the snakes that exist. So the biggest thing is having conviction in what you're coaching and an understanding of all the issues that come with what you're coaching, so you can relate it to the players so they can go fast as possible. And with Wink, he's got a really, really, really cool pressure package that just creates all kinds of havoc. And our system is a little bit different in that we try to coverage you to death. And both can be effective. Both can be championship styles of defense.
Robert, you've talked about closing gaps. There's no bigger gap than the one that exists between the Jets and the Patriots. They've won 12 in a row, and they handed it to you pretty good last year in Foxborough. How important is it to the overall program to get where you want to be, to reverse the trend against a team that's thoroughly dominated you guys for years?
No different than the conversations we had with Miami. It's another division opponent. They've been the gold standard of the AFC East for a very, very long time, and they're not going anywhere. As long as Coach Belichick is there, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to disappear. People were trying to write them off before the season, and you forget that, like just what I talked about, they've been coaching these schemes so long that it's very easy for them to coach all the details on it and get the players to understand it. And so they can play at a very, very efficient level. And so credit to them and the conviction they have. But it's another championship opportunity versus a championship team and we just got to find ways to continue to get better every day. And when Sunday rolls around, we'll see what happens.
Are there any more questions for Coach? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes today's availability.